Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to use the studio mode in Treasure Island. First, you're going to want to navigate to the studio mode in the main menu. I've made this tutorial safe for work, so you don't have to worry. Let's click on Go to Studio. Here, you will be presented with choices between different levels. I'm going to use the studio level, as it's the simplest one for the presentation. In studio mode, you can move around the world with the mouse, WASD, E and C, space and Q. You can show the controls on the top left by pressing Tab. You can mute the game at any time by pressing M. You can see if the game is muted on the top right. You can also hide the UI at any time by pressing H. On the bottom left, you can see that you can open the studio by pressing X. In studio mode, you're presented with 4 different choices. Props, the scenes, I've made the scenes safe for work for the time being, the cameras, and the weather control system. I'm going to start with this one as it's the simplest. The weather control system allows you to set the time of day, clouds or auroras during night, and also the weather, so you can have the scenes exactly the way you want it to be during the recording. The props tabs allows you to select from different props and place them in the world. You can then left click it or right click it to see different settings. Different props have different settings. For example, here you can change the colors, etc. The Scenes tab is much like the Props tabs. It will present you all the scenes that we have in the game, approximately 80. You can then place them in the world and do about the same thing as with the props, with more settings. The Cameras tab is the more complicated one. On the top left, you can place a camera into the world by pressing plus button. Once the camera is in the world, you can see it's got a color and a number. On the top part, you can see the controls for the camera and the view. On the left part, camera settings for the lens, colors, the filters, etc. On the right side, the playback settings for the camera. Right now, it's got only the total play time, but as we add more settings to this camera, we will have more options. Let's try that. I want this camera to travel to this place, so I'm going to place a target here. Now you can see the cam 1 target is here. If I play the camera, it's going to now play for 13 seconds. And it's going to go to this origin, to this target point. This slider decides how long we're going to wait before we move. And this slider decides how long we're going to wait after we've reached the target. Let's do 3 seconds and try it. Now we're playing with big button on the top right, waiting 3 seconds, moving to the target, and upon reaching destination, we're going to wait 3 more seconds. You can also use focus points by pressing the focus button. I'm going to set the first focus here and the second focus here. Now we have new settings appearing on the right. The focus transition start is going to decide when in the timeline we start shifting our focus from the 1 to the 2. Let's leave it to 7 seconds. Then you can pick how quick the transition is going to be. I'm going to make it a slow transition. So now, around 7 seconds, I'm expecting to shift my focus from the chimney to the corner of the roof. You can hold space to skip any scene like this. Let's illustrate what we can do with the camera system to better understand the settings. I'm going to place 2 props. And I'm going to film them. I'm going to add 1 camera for this one, another camera for this one, and then I want a camera which is going to travel from one to the other. So I'm going to set its target here. I want it to focus first here, and then here. I want the first cameras to be very short, so I'm going to select the playback settings for the first one and make them about 5 seconds. I want the third camera to be really slow, so I'm going to set it to be 20 seconds. Wait a couple seconds at the start. At the end, shift the focus halfway with a slow shift. Now, when I play, I'm going to play each camera in order of their numbers. We're going to wait 5 seconds, transition to the next camera, 5 more seconds, transition to the third camera, which is going to slowly pan after 3 seconds to its target, and halfway through, shift its focus from one plan to another. This is still very much work in progress, so expect some bugs and anomalies. Thank you for watching and enjoy playing.